G'day guys, welcome back to the Rugby League Guru podcast, coming to you live from Las Vegas. It has been a huge couple of days. We're not too far away from kickoff in Sin City. It's going to be a sensational Saturday over here, Sunday for you guys. I honestly cannot wait for it. Getting around the streets here in Las Vegas, jerseys absolutely everywhere, lunatics getting around all over the place. It has been unreal. We went to a Warriors event yesterday, spent some time with Sean Johnson, Dallin Montani-Lesniak, and all the Warriors fans, really getting into the spirit. Fantastic to see. Obviously, guys, a little bit of a shorter episode today, brought to you by Neds. We only have the two games coming your way this weekend, Vegas weekend. Then we'll have the remaining six coming in round one next week. So as I said, bit of a shorter episode, but I think this weekend on Neds, there is an absolute stack of value getting around in Las Vegas. Make sure, guys, you head over to the Neds app. You can follow along with the Rugby League Guru profile, along with the group there. If you copied my bet from last week, 17-1. Thanks for coming. Shout out to the boys Keanu Keeney, shout out to Sua Farlongo, and shout out to Finau from the Dragons as well, delivering. That was a tight one there, but shout out to the boys getting it done, 17-1. Hopefully you followed along, and I like the one I've got for you this week as well. We'll talk about it as we go through the games. So let's get stuck into the very first game of Las Vegas. We have got, as far as the NRL goes, you obviously have got the Super League game that is on earlier in the morning, guys, which you can sink your fangs into there. That one's going to be an absolute cracker. Some of the stars like Bevan French, Jai Field, etc. running around. That one will be really exciting. But our first NRL game is the Raiders and the Warriors. Now, the Raiders are favourites in this one, $2.20. Personally, I can sniff an upset in this game. The Warriors are a bit hard to get a read on. They're one of the better sides coming out of trials, but I also thought the Raiders looked really good in the trials. They got beat by the Sharkies about 40 points to 10 or something, but in the first 20 minutes when they had their entire side on, it was 10-0 over the Sharkies, and honestly, they were absolutely giving it to them. That was without Corey Horsburgh and Joe Tarpanay. The kicking game of Jamal Fogarty looks unreal at the moment. I think on this smaller field with the pack they've got, I think they're really going to give the Warriors some trouble in this one. I think a lot of people are expecting the Warriors to win. I think the Raiders will come out. I think they'll win this one in an ugly fashion, as the Raiders tend to do. I think 1-12 for the Canberra Raiders is an absolute special in this game. I think we'll have a really good idea of how the Warriors are shaping up for this year after this game. Obviously, they've gone with Chanel Harris-Tavita at 5'8", which sort of surprised me a little bit. I expected Tamate Martin to be there, but they have gone for Chanel Harris-Tavita, which I don't have a huge problem with. I think defensively, he's probably the better player. I think that he's a really good ball runner, so I think that'll probably suit the game of Luke Metcalf. It's also our first look at the Warriors in a real NRL game without Addin Fonua-Blake. Now, I'm well aware James Fisher-Harris has arrived there, but very hard to replace a guy like Addin. I actually saw him from a distance yesterday, and he is looking unreal at the moment, looking very trim and ready to go. So I'm sure it's going to be a big season for him, and the Warriors are really going to miss him, but it's the experience of James Fisher-Harris that is the big needle mover for them in 2025. I still just think the Canberra Raiders will have enough, though. I think Joe Tarpanay, Corey Horsburgh playing their first games of the year. I think they'll be ready to rumble. Zach Hosking featuring in this one as well, a huge in for the Canberra Raiders coming back from his calf injury. The only one out of this side at the moment is Hopawate, but Tamale gets to play his second NRL game, and I'm expecting him to do very well, one that we've spoken about for quite some time. When it comes to this game on the smaller field, first game, it'll probably be a little bit all over the place. From the Canberra Raiders, the try scorer I like is Ethan Strange. So I don't mind Ethan Strange in this one to cross over for the Canberra Raiders. But my bet for this one is the Canberra Raiders to win between 1 and 5 points. As I said, I think this will be a tight one. I think it'll be a somewhat ugly win, but that's what the Canberra Raiders do best. They just suffocate you out of games. They frustrate you out of games. And Fogarty, I think he's going to potentially kick the Warriors out of this game as well. So the Canberra Raiders to win by 1 to 5 points on Neds, you're looking at $5.25. I think there is plenty of value in that one for the Canberra Raiders. All right, let's move to the second game. The Sharkies, with Addin Fonua-Blake arriving at the club, taking on the Penrith Panthers, obviously coming off 4 premierships in a row. They've got a number of players out of this one. At time of recording, Brian To'o has obviously been ruled out. He is gone. And we've also seen Paul Alamotti move out to the wing. Luke Garner named at centre. Casey McLean on the other wing. I do believe, whispers around Sin City at the moment, there's a very good chance that Paul Alamotti could be ruled out of this one. So a little spot to watch there, which would see Casey's older brother, Jesse, come into the side on the wing. So both McLeans on either edge. Off the back of that, from what I've been told, Defensively, Ivan Cleary is very worried, especially going up against this Sharky side. Their outside backs, plenty of strike in your Itos, Mulitalos, Ramians, these sort of guys, not to mention Wilton, Nikita. I think he's really worried about their edge defense. I have been told that Blaze Talangi not featuring in this one. They've gone with Jack Cole, and that is a defensive decision for this game. The depth that these guys look into individual matchups and their defensive combinations for each individual game, it really is incredible and like no team I've seen before. So that's my mail. That's what I've been told heading into this one, so we'll see what happens moving into the future. But I do think those guys that are missing for the Penrith Panthers, I think that will hurt them a lot. I think the new defensive combos will get really tested by a Sharky side that loves to move the football and has plenty of game breakers in this side. My other thing with the Penrith Panthers, they tend to start seasons slow. We've seen them lose World Club challenges, struggle in the early rounds over the last few years despite how dominant they've been throughout the year. I think it is worth noting that the Panthers, they haven't had a trial. This whole side has not played yet. They had a trial a few weeks ago where I think Isaiah Papali'i played and a couple of forwards here and there. That was about it. Then you had the next trial where they were meant to play against the North Sydney Bears. They pulled out of that one. And then last week, it was all the reserve graders playing. Not a single player in Vegas played in that game. So some of these guys have had a little hit out. Most of them haven't. I think there's still cobwebs to be blown out there. So I think the Penrith Panthers, they will start slow in this one. And I think as well, the reality is not every game is equal. Some games definitely mean more to certain clubs. And I think the Sharkies, they'd be looking at this, probably the biggest stage that they've played on over the last couple of years in Las Vegas. The Panthers, they've obviously played numerous grand finals and whatnot. For the Sharkies, I think this one is huge. And they finally got that forward in Adam Fanua-Blake, that real game breaker, that alpha, that A1 forward that they've been waiting for over the last few seasons. He arrives, and I think the Sharkies have got something to prove this year. And I think they will look to take their first step in Las Vegas and knock over the defending premiers. I just think this one means a little bit more to the Sharkies. I think their forward pack is just so strong in the strike and their outside backs. I think it'll really start to hurt Penrith, who are obviously missing Brian Toto coming out of their own end. I think you'll see Nico Hines and Braden Trindle. They'll really test out those new combinations. I like the matchup of Jesse Ramian on Luke Garner. New defenders around him as well. I would be trying to get Jesse Ramian plenty of early ball. He's my anytime try scorer for this one. I think he's at very, very good value. As far as my result for this game, I have got the Sharkies pulling an upset. They're at decent odds heading into this game. I've got them winning by 6 to 10 points. That's where I'm leaning at the moment. 13 plus, I think that's a little bit of a stretch against a side like the Penrith Panthers, but I do think they will do it by at least one score in this game. So give me the Panthers to win by 6 to 10 points. You are getting $5.75 for that on Neds. 6 to 10 points at the Cronulla Sharks over the Penrith Panthers. Now, if you multi those together, which is my bet on the Rugby League Guru page this week on the Neds app, go and check it out and copy the bet. You are getting Sharks, Canberra Raiders to win by 1 to 5 points and the Sharkies by 6 to 10 points. You're getting $31.80 for that. We're in a bit of good form. We hit a 17 to 1 last week and we're looking to back it up with a big winner in Las Vegas. Because I'll tell you what, outside of that, it's been reasonably bleak in Sin City. Started off well, then faded pretty goddamn hard. So we're looking to get back in the winning circle with a big one on Saturday here, Sunday for you guys. Guys, it's been a fantastic week in Vegas. Once again, the NRL has absolutely nailed it. The clubs are going above and beyond over here. The players are all pitching in, doing their absolute best and spending plenty of time with fans and whatnot. It's been a tremendous week over here. Make sure you tune into the games on Sunday morning if you're at home, or if you're here on Saturday in Las Vegas. Make sure you get out to the game. Make sure you come and say hello. We'll be roaming around doing a bit of content and whatnot out the front and at the game. That's if you don't see my melon 1,000 times before then, hunting around Las Vegas here. So make sure you come and say hi if you see us, guys. And if you are at home, enjoy the game. Chuck on your Kangaroos hat as well. Really lap it up. Kangaroo Tour, it's been fantastic. And we'll be back very, very soon. I think next Tuesday we return. We'll be straight into content. And our preview next week will look a little bit different as well. So stay tuned for that. We have got a guest joining us for the season. You'll see an announcement during the week. But one of my favourite players of all time. One of my favourite CBAs of all time as well. A little clue for you guys. Some of you will work it out. Some of you won't. And that's tough shit for you. We'll see you next week, guys. Go and join. Go and sign up on the Neds app. Go follow the Rugby League Guru profile and join the Neds group in there as well to follow along with our bets each and every week.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website